students, have you downloaded?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we can start. So these are the two softwares. This is the GNS3 software in which we can run our routers, and this is the iOS, that is Inter-Network Operating System for the router. We are telling about the Cisco routers, and 3640 C3640, this is a Cisco router, and the series is 3600. So it is a high-end router. So this router can be used as a switch as well as a router also, and in this router some security patch also available. So it is a very good router. So first of all, we install this software. So for installing, we just double click on it, GNS3. Screen is visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then next, then I agree. Then next, then check all the tabs, then next, and then install. So here WinPCAP 4.1.3 is already installed. So it is already installed in my machine. That's why this warning is shown. So you can cancel it or you can press OK. So again it will be installed. And next, agree. Then install. Finish. So it is shown that Wireshark is downloading. So if it is not downloaded, then cancel it and then press OK. So Wireshark is not required for our experiment. So if it is not downloaded in your system, then you can cancel it out. So it is completed. Now it is given that would you like to get our free service like this. So it is not required. So press no and then finish. So it is installed. From the desktop icon, you can start viewing the software. So double click on it. By default, new project comes out. So I just cancel it. that is from the newer version of GNS3 is available, so we not require that one. I think up to this much clear. Now, yes. Select no. Then here you can see that this is browse routers, so you can press here, but it is shown that no router have been configured. It's because you have not installed our iOS, for that it is shown like this. So to install our iOS, go to edit and go to preferences. Okay. Then go to dynamics. Under dynamics, there is the iOS routers. So I select this one, iOS routers. Then new. Here you can find that please choose an iOS image. So it is asked for image file. That is the binary file. I saved it in my desktop. So browse. This file .bin. This one is the operating system of your router. Okay, so this is a virtual router operating system. So in physical router also you have this type of operating system required. Okay, so select it, open. Would you like to decompose it? Yes. Okay, then press next. Name 3600, this is the series platform 3600 series. Chassis is 3640 and this is the specific router model. Then press next, and default RAM is 192 MB. Okay, then press next. Here you have to choose the slots. In a router, I will show you, in a router there are several slots, so you should select that slots. So first of all I am selecting the fast Ethernet. So I am selecting the first one, 1FETX, and slot 1 is for Ethernet, 1E. Okay, so I am selecting only 2. You can select others also for slot 2, slot 3. So slot 0 I am selecting NM1FETX. This is fast Ethernet. FE stands for fast Ethernet, and 1 Ethernet, 1E, 1 Ethernet port. Okay, these are the ports which is available with your routers, but you just select it. Okay, that is means you just design your slots. And next, Now there is one thing, see idle PC. You require to set your idle PC value, and here it is written an idle PC value is necessary to prevent iOS Internet Operating System to use 100% of your processors or one of its core. Okay, if you are not select the idle PC value, then when you run the GNS3 software with your router, 3 or 4 routers, at that time your PC will be hanged up. Okay, for that reason you should select the idle PC value. So for that I press idle PC finder. It will automatically find out a value for you by which you can idle your PC. That means when GNS3 software will run, it will not use the whole processor cycles. It only use some part of your processor. Okay. So it will finding out a value automatically. This is a new add-on in this GNS3 software. Previously, that is you have to select a value manually so that your PC will go to idle mode. So this is the value it is find out for you, that is 0 hex 060638 ECC. Okay, you just press OK and it will comes here and then finish. Okay, now press apply and press OK. So that's it. Configuration is done, means preferences is done. Now you can select this router. You can take out this router for your configuration. Okay, just select this router and place it here. Okay, so now it is off, that's why it is red. You can run it using this button or left click and then press start so that your router will start. Okay, up to this much clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now go to our manual. Here there are several commands. So before go to the commands, I show you some picture. This is a router of 3600 series. This is a 3640 router. This is the front side of your router. So router is a L3 device, layer 3 device. It is used for networking to filter out your network from your IP addresses. Filtered out it, we use this router, and router also find out the shortest path by which the traffics can go out. So this is the function, basic function of router. So this is the front part of this router. There are several ports here in the front part, and it's a card slot. You can use a flash card in this router. And this is the back side. This is the back side of this router. I think it is visible to you. This is the back side. Okay, there are several ports, serial port, then fast Ethernet port, then Ethernet port. Okay, several communication port are here. This is the power supply and it's a switch. Okay, so to configure a router, we require to connect a RJ45 cable that is shown to you in last class. RJ45 port is required and a Cat6 cable with RJ45 clip is required. Okay, and that is called console port. Here you can see this is serial port for serial communication, and in a router there is a port called console port. Okay, using this port you can enter into your router. Okay, a PC is required to configure your router. Using this console port you connect a Cat6 cable with RJ45 clip. You can connect it using your PC or laptop. Okay, and this is a one Ethernet port. This is Ethernet 0/0. There is only one Ethernet port is available in this router. That's why it is shown 0/0. If there is a 4 port available, then it can be written as 0/4. Okay, this is the auxiliary port. Using any server, you can connect using this port. So auxiliary port not required in our case. Required our console port. So when we connect to our console port, and so one window will comes out, like DOS mode window will comes out. So I'll show you. So you understand the console port. So it is required physically. This console port is required when you connect your laptop or PC with your router. Okay, when you try to configure your router, so this console port is a very much important port for you. Okay, so now virtually we can go to the router console port. So there is a function called console. You can go to console of this router also by pressing this one. Okay, so before go to console, I have to power it up. So I just press the start button to run this router. So I press it. Before pressing it, I just go to all control del task manager. So you can see that how much CPU is used when you start your router. So it is turned into green. So now router is start. Okay. And your CPU is 70 to 30%. Also it is loaded because I'm using Google Meet. Else in ideal case you can find out that CPU is 0%, as because you just select idle PC value. That's why it must be 0% when you are not in online. In that case your CPU will be 0%. So whatever, I just take the router out and then I go to console port. So this much part is virtual, but when you go to console port, it is similar with a hardware. Okay, hardware interaction between PC and your router. So this is same as when you just, if you connect a PC with a router, so same type of interface will come out. Okay, so as you can see that it is shown R1 hash. Okay, that is R1 is your router. You can change the name also. This is the R1 router. Enter. Yes, enter. Up to this much clear? Okay. So in router configuration, now we going to configure our router using different commands. So in router configuration, there are broadly there are 4 different modes are available. First one is user execution mode. Okay, user execution mode. I just give the by default it is comes like R1 hash. So I just disable this mode. This is another mode. It's called privilege mode. Okay, so I just take out my router from privilege mode using this command disable, and this R and this symbol greater than symbol is the user execution mode. Okay, this is user execution mode. I repeat, this is user execution mode. So in this mode several commands are available. So by pressing question mark, you can get these commands, execution commands. These are the commands: access enable, access profile, call, clear, connect, crypto, disable, disconnect, enable, exit, help. There are several commands, and here more. You can press enter to find out other commands also. Else you can enter Control Z to get out from this command windows. Control Z. So by pressing Control Z, you can get out from your command line. Okay, so this is user execution mode. Okay, so this is one mode. Another mode is privilege mode. Privilege mode, there is also several commands. How we can go to privilege mode? By pressing enable, enable. This is R1 hash. So now it is in privilege mode. Okay, and there are several commands also available. So just question mark. These are the commands: access enable, access profile, access templates, LPS, archives, audio prompt, auto. Different commands are available in this privilege mode. Okay, then I press Control Z to get out from the command line. So this is privilege mode. Now the third mode is, you can write down these modes. First one, user execution mode. Second one, privilege mode. Okay. Now I am going to discuss global configuration mode. Global configuration mode. What is the command? To go to global configuration mode, this is configure terminal. Configure terminal is given here in your manual also. Okay. The commands is configure terminal. Example, this is your user execution mode. To go to privilege mode, you just write down enable and then router hash. This is your privilege mode. Then you write down configure terminal. It will go to global configuration mode. Enters global configuration mode when you are using the console port. Okay. So this is the command. So I enter this command here. Configure terminal. Okay, just write configure terminal. You can press, like when you write configure terminal, you can write con, then press tab. So configure will automatically comes out. Then you can write TE and press tab. So terminal will automatically comes out. If command is available in this configuration mode, then automatically it will comes out when you press tab. Okay, you just need to write the first or second letter of your word and then press tab, so the command will automatically comes out. Okay, configure terminal, then press enter. So now your router is in global configuration mode. Global configuration mode, you can write it, global configuration mode. That's why it is shown like this, R1 bracket config hash. Okay, so this is in global configuration mode. In this mode there are several commands. You press question mark, this is the commands here. Basically this is the main configuration terminal of router, so it is very important mode. Okay, so the network engineer who have the access of user execution mode, they called L1 engineer, and those have the access of R1 hash, that is privilege mode, they called L2, and those have the access of global configuration mode, they called L3 engineers. Okay, so this is very important mode. In this mode you can configure your router. Every configuration you can configure. So this is R1 config hash. So this is the symbol of global configuration mode. Okay, and the fourth mode is interface configuration mode. Interface configuration mode. So I will discuss it later. I just show you the command one by one from manual. So first one is done. Configure terminal. This is for global configuration mode. The second one is host name. Host name, you can change your host name, change your router name using this command. Okay, so write down host name, just write Nita, change my router name to Nita, NIT Agartala. Okay, press enter. See, R1 is changed to NITA, and it is in global configuration mode also. Okay, so this is the second one, second command. Then the third command is to protect our router from the intruder. So we just put one password. Okay, so this is specify an encrypted password to prevent unauthorized access to the router. So the command is enable secret, and then password. So you can put any password as you wish. Enable secret. So this is the password command. So enable secret and password. What password you need? I just put Nita here. NIT Nita. So enable secret password Nita. Then press enter. Press enter. Then Control Z. After configuring any command, every time you have to press Control Z. Okay. Then it is shown that configured from console by console. That means your configuration is done successfully. So that's why it is shown console by console. Okay. Now I am exit from the global configuration mode. Just write exit. Okay. I just exit means I am just disconnect my console port from my router. Okay. Virtually. So now again you just press return to get started. Press return to get started. Is written here. Okay, and Nita is your router, and con 0 means console 0. That means in this router there is 2 console port, so it is written that con 0 is now available. Okay, you can press to get started. When you press enter, shown like this. Okay, you can disable it, and when you enable and wants to go to your privilege mode, it said password is required. Okay, previously it was Nita hash. When I press enter, by default it is go to privilege mode. Okay, but I disable it and go to user execution mode, the fast mode. I discussed it, fast mode. So password time is expired, it is shown. So now I enter the password. So I enter Nita, N-I-T-A, Nita. Okay, but it is not shown here. Okay, I press enter and privilege mode is here, Nita hash. Understand? Students, is it clear? Or I will?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, by default, for this router only, by default you are go to privilege mode. But in other routers, like in other low-end router like 1900 series router, when you exit, you go to execution mode, not the privilege mode. But here you go to privilege mode. Okay, by default, as because it is a high-end router, so execution mode is not required for this router. That's why it is go to privilege mode. But to check your password whether it is working or not, you have to disable from privilege mode, and when you enable it again, it asks password. Okay, you just put your password which is hidden, and then you again comes to privilege mode. Okay, so this is the password. Then there is a command banner MOTD. There is a dollar symbol, no unauthorized access allowed. So it is required. It will be displayed on the screen when the user will log in. That means if you have, say you have 5 or 6 routers in your hand, and which router is your core router, you do not know. So you can put a banner in the router when you log in into your router. In that case, it will show that this is our core router, don't touch it, like this type of banner. Okay, or the banner which is given in your menu, no unauthorized access allowed. Okay, so any kind of banner you can set. This is the command banner MOTD. So I put here also. To set it, you have to go to global configuration mode. So I just give the command conft. It is a short command, but the router can understand that it is a configuration terminal command. Okay, so press enter. So it goes to global configuration mode. Then I write banner MOTD $, then run, then write this is our core router Nita. Okay, then again $, then enter. Okay, then Control Z. So it is written that configured from console by console. Now you disable it. Okay, exit. See, this banner is shown. This is our core router Nita. So this is the banner. When you entered into your router, this banner will show. This your core router. Okay, so this is the fourth command. Then most important command, this is interface serial 0/0. Okay, now we are talking about the interfaces. Interface means when we connect two or more routers. So in that case we require interface, and we have to put our IP addresses, which I was discussing last class. So for that you require another router. Before you place another router, you have to stop all devices by pressing this one, stop, and this light is goes red. Then you drag another router. This is R2 router, this is R1, and you connect this router to each other. Then interface, physical interface will establish. So for that, add a link, go to add a link. Okay, then come here. You have two ports available. One is Ethernet 1/0 port for this router. So I take Ethernet 1/0. Okay, and drag it and drop it here. And here also you have two ports. One is fast Ethernet 0/0 and Ethernet 1/0. I take Ethernet 1/0. Okay, so interfacing is done. Fine. Now you uncheck it, and you can press here to show or hide interface labels. Okay, see E1/0 and E1/0, Ethernet 1/0, Ethernet 1/0. These are connected in LAN. Okay, now you have two interfaces, one for R1, one for R2. Okay, now I run both. Fine. Now I go to the console of R1. Also, I go to the console of R2. Both I required, R1, R2. R1 and R2. Fine. Two routers. I have two routers. Okay. Now this command, interface serial 0/0, but here we have Ethernet. For that we have to put interface Ethernet 1/0. From the diagram we have Ethernet 1/0 and Ethernet 1/0. Okay, so we have to write Ethernet 1/0. Before that we have to go to global configuration mode using this command conf t. Okay, then interface Ethernet. I just write ET and then press tab. So Ethernet will automatically come out. Interface Ethernet. What is the port name? 1/0. Then press enter. So you can see that it is in global config. It was in global configuration mode. Now it is in config-if, that is interface configuration mode. As I said earlier, this is our fourth mode of configuration, config-if. Okay, interface configuration mode. You can write it down. So you can understand four modes. One is user execution mode, privilege mode, Third one is global configuration mode, and fourth one is interface configuration mode. Okay. So now the router is goes into the interface of Ethernet 1/0. Okay. Here I put IP address for this device. Okay, it is a networking device, so definitely it is the IP address of the network, not the host. So I put one IP address for this. So it is the command IP address. I'm giving one class C address 192 as per in manual 168.1.1. Okay, and you have to put the subnet mask also with your IP address. Okay, so IP address 192.168.1.1. Okay, so with your subnet mask, you have to put your subnet mask also. Okay, so write the subnet mask. By default for class C, subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Fine. IP address 192.168.1.1. This is the network address, not the host address. As because we are dealing with a L3 device, that is our router. So this is the IP address of this router 192.168.1.1, and followed by our subnet mask, that is 255.255.255.0. Okay, this is the by default subnet mask of class C address. Understands? Okay, now press enter. Press enter, and there is another command when you put this IP address. Okay, physically when you connect your router with the Ethernet connection, physically they are connected, but to connect them logically you have to put IP address. So I put the IP address here, and you have to give one command that is called no shutdown. No shutdown. Okay, by giving this command you instruct your router to check the other port also. Okay, when the other port is also logically when this router R1 is found that R2 have another IP address, so it will automatically logically up. Okay, so using this command you just activate your router. So no shutdown, then press enter, and then Control Z. See now interface Ethernet 1/0 change state to up. You got this? Interface Ethernet 1/0 change state to up. Okay, that means previously it was physically connected, but logically it was down. But when you put one IP address in this interface, it changed state to up. Okay, now you put another IP address for R2 also. So for that you have to go to global configuration mode, then go to interface Ethernet. What is the port 1/0, then IP address, same IP address will be given. Only difference is previous one is 192.168.1.1 and this one is 1.2. That means the next network address 1.1 and 1.2 with by default subnet mask. Right? then press enter and command shutdown, no shutdown. You can write the short no shut, press enter, then control Z. Okay, now you can check whether your routers are logically connected or not. How? There is a command called ping, P-I-N-G. You can write it down, ping. Using this command, you can understand, you can check out whether your R2 is connected with the R1. Ping and the IP address. What IP address? The IP address of router 2. 1.2 and press enter. See, when I pinging it, the success rate is 80% is shown. That means it is connected. You can again ping it. Now it is shown success rate is 100%. Okay. Total time taken for round trip average is 62 milliseconds. That means your routers are connected with each other. You can ping from R2 also. It is not, this command is not given in your manual. You can write it down. So 192.168.1.1. This is the IP address of R1 router. And press enter. So the success rate is 100%. And the average time taken is 69 milliseconds. That means your both the routers are physically and logically connected. So this is the command. This is interface serial. So this is interface configuration mode. So we understand this part also. Students, up to this much clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I go to next command. This is one command, copy running config, startup config. Running configuration, config means configuration, and startup configuration. Okay. So whatever configuration written here, you can see this configuration, show running configuration. So using this command, you can see the configuration that the interface Ethernet 1/0 IP address this is this. What is the command? Show run. Again I write this command. Show is in privilege mode. Show run. Short form. The full form is show running configuration. Okay, running config. Press enter. So it is take some time for building configuration. Content configuration at byte 803 bytes. Okay. Then press enter. And this is the running configuration. Now what is running configuration and what is startup configuration? To understand this, you go to here. In your router, there is different memory elements are available. This ROM, flash, then NVRAM, RAM. These are the memory elements. Okay. So when you just start up your router, in that time, first router do power on self test. That is called post power on self test. Okay. It will test all the components which is connected with the router, peripherals which is connected with the routers. Okay. Then it load from the ROM the bootstrap. Okay, bootstrap is a configuration file which is required to start up the router. Okay, it is taken these commands from the ROM. Okay, then it will take the iOS. We have installed the iOS in preferences in this software. So physically, when router is turned on, the iOS is loaded from the flash drive. There is also a port. I have, this is a flash drive port. So card is even here. Okay, and all the configuration, running configuration is stored in this flash drive. Okay, so iOS loaded from the flash drive, and then it is loaded the startup configuration from the NVRAM, non-volatile RAM, and then after the running configuration will taken from the RAM. Okay, so there are several processes. So if sometimes it is happen that when you configure your router, by mistake you done means you erase some commands from your router. Okay, by mistake you can erase some commands from your router, and that is your running configuration. Okay, so when it is happen, in that case you can again copy your running configuration from the startup configuration, which is stored in your NVRAM. So it is a bit difficult for you to understand without study the theory part. So you should study about the startup configuration and running configuration. I give you the command. So this is the command: copy running config startup config. That means whatever configuration stored in NVRAM, it will copy it from the NVRAM and process it with the startup configuration. So this is the command. So you can check it out. Copy running config startup config, then press enter. The destination file name, you don't have the destination file name, you just press enter. Building configuration, okay. That means whatever configuration stored in your startup, it is comes on running configuration. Okay, so by this way you can retrieve the whole information which is stored in your NVRAM. Understand this thing? Okay, then another command, it is also for protection for your router. So this is the command of line VTUI 4 space 0 space 4. Okay, line VTUI. Okay, so before that you require to know the telnet. What is telnet? Telnet. So telnet is a command protocol. Using this you can connect to the router which is not physically available in your room. Okay, you can connect another router which is not physically available with you. Okay, so using this command, say R1 router is connected with your PC, fine, but R2 router is not connected. Say R1 router is the NIT Agartala router and R2 router is the NIT Delhi. Okay, and R1 router is physically connected with your PC, but this router is not, as because this is in Delhi. But you have to configure R2 router. So how can you do this? Using the telnet command. Okay, so first of all you go to R1 router. These routers are logically physically connected. Now you press telnet and the IP address of your router which is reside on Delhi telnet. Okay, see, trying 192.168.1.2 open, password required but not set. So for that, to connect the router using telnet command, you have to put a password in your router too. Okay, it is for security purpose, so you require to put one password in your R2 router. So how? Using this command, which is given in serial number 7, router config line vty 0/4. Okay, so go to route R2 and then go to global configuration mode using this command config t, then type line vty. Basically this is a console password. Okay, sorry, telnet password. Okay, 0/4. That means at a time, using this telnet command, 5 users can access the R2 router. That's why it is given 0/4. Line VTO is 0/4. 5 users at a time can access this router R2, which is reside on Delhi. Okay. Then press enter and put the password. What will be your password? So it is NITA, NITA. Enter and then Control Z. Okay. So password is given in R2 router. This password is different from that password. Enable secret. Enable secret is for console password, which is physically connected. But this is telnet password. Okay. Don't get confused about it. Okay. Now again go to R1 router and press the command telnet and the IP address for R2 router. Then press enter. Okay. Now trying at the open user access verification password. Okay. See, you have to put the password here. So I put password NITA and press enter. Now in R1 router, see, this is your R1 router, but you go to R2 router, R2 EN, then no password set. You have to set another password, but using this you have to go to the R2 router. Understand? In R1, using R1 router, you go to the R2. Understand? Friends?
Yes.
You have any query you can ask. No, for that, to enter into the privilege mode, you require to set another password, and you have to set it in R2. I just give you the basic preliminary idea how you can go to the next router using telnet. Okay, I'm not going to the next level. I just show you the basic commands. So these are the commands, the basic commands. After doing this, you have to put your console port. Okay, I'm giving here some example, and you have to put your both the console here. Okay, with the conclusion. So if you have any query, doubts, regarding experiment number 4 and experiment number 3 also you can ask. It's because in next class we are going to configure 3 or 4 routers. So if you have any doubt, you can clear it today.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Sir, in this experiment, do we have to attach screenshots of both router or only one?
both.
Okay.
Students, you have already installed the software. You tried some commands by yourself. If you facing any trouble, you can ask me. Okay.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Sir, in experiment 2, do we have to draw the figures or have to attach the image? Experiment 2.
Experiment 2. Okay, experiment 2, you just write everything. Okay.
Sir, the
With
and the images, figures.
images, you can put the images whatever I am given. With if you have two devices and you have a LAN where you can connect it using your PC Internet Protocol version 4, and you can change the property of your IPv4 and take the snapshot of that. If you have two devices and LAN wire, in that case only.
And sir, can we paste the image of the tools
Yes,
apparatus?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. You can paste the tools and everything.
Hello, sir.
Bolo.
Sir, I have a little bit doubt about Ethernet cable. Sir, can we use for data flow Ethernet cable?
Can we
Use for data flow.
I can't get you.
Sir,
हाँ फिर से बोलो.
am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, but what you are saying, I am not
Sir,
understanding.
okay. Sir, just like Ethernet cable, can we use for data flow,
For data,
data transfer?
Ethernet cable.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Using Ethernet cable, you transmit the data only, na? There are 4 pairs
So,
of
sir,
wires. You are sending the digital data only, na? Using Ethernet cables.
yeah.
With your power, with your voltage, means 0 to 5 volt. Using Ethernet cable, you can transmit the power also. Some devices are required the power from other devices. In that case, you are using Ethernet cables. That is called power over Ethernet, PoE. So as well as you can transmit power and data also.
Okay, sir. Sir, can we connect with mobile Ethernet cable?
No.
Okay, sir. Sir,
हाँ बोलो.
hello, sir. If we use Ethernet cable for data transfer, may it faster data transfer or slow? Like
You are
general,
transmitting the data. You are transmitting the data only using Ethernet cable,
yeah, sir.
and you have the speed up to 10 Gbps, 100 Gbps using Ethernet cables. In Cat 6 extended, you can transmit 100 Gbps of data.
Per second, sir.
Hmm.
Okay, sir. Now understood.
Hmm.